When I was little, something big happened in our village. Ms. Lu, a young teacher who'd come to the mountains to teach, was assaulted and then disappeared. Hardly anyone in the village took it seriously at first. But not long after, people started dying. Only later did we learn the culprit was my grandfather. Ms. Lu was young and beautiful. You're listening to a story. Her skin is smooth and pale as tofu. They said she was even a graduate student. But mountain folk didn't care how educated she was. They only cared about whether a woman could bear children. She became the object of the men's fantasies. When the flowers bloomed that spring, she suddenly turned up pregnant despite having no boyfriend, and the village exploded with gossip. Some pitied her, others sneered behind her back. When the police came, they found traces of an unknown powder in her thermos and suspected she'd been drugged. The village erupted, men were hauled in for questioning, but none matched the evidence. When the men returned, they were furious and loud. The women gradually ostracized Ms. Lu. A few jealous women even stormed the school to curse her as a fox spirit and a flirt, said her bright clothes and full figure were meant to seduce men, that what happened to her served her right. Then she vanished into the mountains without a trace. The villagers soon slid back into their routines as if she had never existed, until the strange deaths began. The first was the old bachelor at the head of the village, a layabout who stole chickens and kicked dogs, and who had bullied girls when he was young, only to be beaten half-blind for it, after which his life fell apart. He'd been among those the police questioned, but before results came back, he was dead. It was grotesque. Something had squeezed through the mud brick wall and gnawed him to pieces. Blood ran from the inner room all the way to the door. There were no signs of struggle. From his bulging eye, they surmised he had died of extreme terror. Even the police didn't dare look for long. They went to my grandfather, a renowned hunter in the village, to ask what kind of beast could enter a house and kill like that without leaving tracks. Grandfather spent his life in the mountains. His body still powerful. At 50 he was stronger than most young men. He commanded respect. Often his word carried more weight than the village headman's. But even he wasn't certain. The mountain beasts were fierce. Yes, but for one to slip into the village and eat a man, without a trace? That was uncanny. With no cameras in the village, the investigation stalled. The police gathered the remains for autopsy, told everyone to be vigilant, and left. Soon after, grandfather was called to a meeting. Topic: what, exactly, had killed the old bachelor? They debated without conclusion until Zhang Man Kai blurted, maybe Teacher Lu died in the mountains and turned into a vengeful ghost? And many believed it. Mountain folk tend to hand the unknown over to spirits and demons. Grandfather stared him down. You mean the old bachelor killed Ms. Lu? Zhang Man Kai hedged. I don't know. Just guessing. Others chimed in. If someone in the village did it, he can't run forever, always drooling after women. Who'd believe he was innocent? Grandfather frowned. The police ran tests. Nothing matched. The men exchanged glances. Evasive, like someone knew something. Grandfather pulled me up and took me outside. Be careful at night, he warned me. Burn some joss paper after dark. If it really is a vengeful spirit, only the guilty need fear. I didn't understand then. What did an ugly old man's death have to do with Ms. Lu? Who could even say she was dead? Thinking back, only the perpetrator would know for sure. All I felt was disgust. How could a fairy-like woman like Ms. Lu be dragged into the same breath as that lowlife? Ghost rumors spread fast. People started burning offerings. The sharp-tongued aunties even set their incense burners in their courtyards. Flames danced all night. With a fresh death in the village, grandfather wanted to send me to the city. But I refused. The village was more fun. And in the city I had only my mother, she worked late. The home was cold. Better to stay with grandfather. He hadn't decided yet when another man died. Zhang Hutai, the trader who bought goods in the hills and resold them. He was shrewd with money. Built himself a little 3-story house. Strutted about like a lord, dark skin, darker heart. They found him face down in a well, when they hauled him up. He was bloated, features distorted, organs gone, almost the same as the old bachelor. The police suspected a serial killer. 1 teacher missing, 2 men dead. The village panicked. Grandfather was summoned again. I tagged along. The police asked a few questions and left. Only a handful of us remained. Grandfather asked. When Ms. Lu disappeared, she was pregnant, right? The room went silent. Everyone looked uneasy. Finally Zhang Mankai spoke. Uncle 8, what are you implying? Grandfather's face hardened. You all know perfectly well what you did. Do you want to wait until it comes knocking, or confess now? I thought he was just trying to scare them. But Zhang Mankai glanced around and lowered his voice. Uncle 8, it wasn't our idea. Zhang Hutai put the old bachelor up to it. Now karma's here for him. Serves him right. That day you were in the mountains. So we couldn't. Grandfather went still. Did you take Zhang Hutai's money? A little. Zhang Hutai used a rainy night, led people to abduct Ms. Lu, and buried her in the Momo ravine. Grandfather lost his composure, leaping up to curse. Animals. To you lot. It's all just money, isn't it? No one dared reply. Zhang Mankai tugged my sleeve. Uncle 8, you have abilities. The boy is still in the village. If it takes notice of him. Bastard, what did this have to do with me? I was ready to run to the police when grandfather shot me a look, and I swallowed it down. They started begging. Uncle 8, we were out of our minds then. We know we were wrong. Please don't abandon us. This is Zhang Village. One man's honor is the village's honor. One man's disaster is the village's disaster. Zhang Mankai patted my head. His voice low and ominous. What matters now, is to resolve it. Yes, resolve it, wipe them all out. I muttered, and got a slap for my trouble. My anger only burned hotter. Back home, I berated grandfather. We needed to tell the police. He said, those who do evil will be punished by heaven, and told me to keep my mouth shut. Then he pressed a triangular gold charm into my hand and sent me to Zhang Hutai's house, told me to play with his child while sounding out whether his younger brother, Zhang Hulo, was back. Hulo was a hunter too, less skilled than grandfather, but still good. I figured grandfather wanted them to go into the mountains together to hunt for safety. So I agreed. At the Zhangs, the entire family was busy with the funeral. I found the child and coaxed a few answers. Learning Hulo was away, I set off home. Passing the well, I saw something black dangling over the rim, then, in a blink, it was gone. I thought it was a wildcat and hurried back to tell grandfather. Not thinking more of it. When he heard, he rewarded me with a whole tin of bubblegum. And my anger cooled. Looking grim, he sent for Zhang Mankai. He shut the door and dragged him into the inner room. I was shooed away. But I chewed gum and pressed my ear to the wall to eavesdrop. Grandfather's voice was sharp. What exactly happened when Ms. Lu disappeared? If you want to live, don't you dare hold back. After a long pause, Zhang Mankai mumbled. It was Zhang Hutai, that fool. He was afraid it would come out, and everything would blow up. Grandfather snapped. So Hulo went to handle it, did he? And now the police are looking for him, right? Something ceramic shattered. Grandfather nearly shouted. It's come for your lives. That's why you've crawled to me. Isn't it? His breathing slowed when he spoke again. It was weary. If I didn't owe your father my life. Is Hulo dead too? Why hasn't he returned? Zhang Mankai muttered. No, Hulo cared for Ms. Lu. When he found out, he wanted to tell the police. But his brother stopped him. That day, he meant to take her to town. You know what kind of man Hutai was. No way he'd let her go. Grandfather pushed the door open, lifted me into his arms, and stared Zhang Mankai in the face. Then those who've died deserved it. If you didn't do anything, what are you afraid of, unless you're guilty? Zhang Mankai panicked. Grandfather jabbed a finger at his nose. Mankai, to live with a name this stained, your father would push the lid off his coffin. You might fool others, but you won't fool me. If you won't tell the truth, don't expect my help. Who else? Bring them all. By dusk, he brought 2 men. Zhang Tonduk from halfway up the mountain, and his cousin, Ta Hong Quang. The moment they crossed the threshold, all 3 dropped to their knees. Uncle 8, save us, for the sake of kinship. Grandfather sighed. Stand up. They stood, but didn't dare sit, flicking nervous glances at the dark window. Then they told the story. Listening, it was clear, they were beasts. That night it poured, the mountain slopes were collapsing. The police had told Ms. Lu to wait until the rain eased and they'd come for her. So she was preparing to go back to town to cooperate with the investigation. She wanted justice. Hu Lo drove a three-wheeler to take her, but Hu Tai and his men blocked them. At first they only detained her, claiming the roads were dangerous in a storm. She didn't suspect them. Then, in the scuffle, Hu Tai slipped, and she understood. No wonder the police had found nothing, because Hu Tai had betrayed her. And the real perpetrator had already fled the village. Once exposed, Hu Tai ordered the old bachelor to tie her up. Hu Lo rushed in to save her, but Zhang Tong Duc and Ta Hong Quang pinned him down. It was dark and raining hard. No one could see clearly. Who could have expected he'd be unlucky enough to smash his temple against a sharp rock, blood pouring everywhere. Dead on the spot, a life lost, and everything grew more serious. Terrified, Zhang Man Kai and the old bachelor tried to run, but Zhang Hu Tai stopped them. Since they were already in it, he said, they had to wipe out every trace, or they'd all be finished. Ms. Lu fainted from fright. Rain dumped down, her clothes were soaked through, her figure vague and gleaming in the vehicle's lights. Stoking their filthy desires, they hauled both Zhang Hu Lo and Ms. Lu to the Momo ravine. Hu Lo was weighted with stones and sunk in the river. And Ms. Lu, they violated her in turns until she died. Only after grasping the horror of what they'd done did panic set in. 2 lives for a few tens of thousands, utterly not worth it. But Hu Tai threw another 10,000 at each of them, and they toppled the three-wheeler into the river too. No one will ever find this place, he said. Not gods, not ghosts. They nodded, plotted, and agreed to keep silent. Yet within days of returning, people started dying. First the old bachelor, then Zhang Hu Tai. They unraveled. It's gotta be vengeful spirits. Hu Lo and Ms. Lu have come back. My grandfather was livid. He swung and slapped hard. This village, why is it full of You're
beasts
listening
like
to a
you?
story on
Aren't
Hecate
you afraid of
audio.
wiping out your own bloodline?
He rubbed his temples, face flushed with fury. Damn it, how am I supposed to help with this? Zhang Man Kai dropped to his knees, not daring to raise his head. Hands shaking, Zhang Tong Duc fished out a cigarette and timidly offered it to my grandfather. Uncle 8, we're still the living, if we've sinned. Let the police handle us, but that thing, there's no humanity in it at all. You still have the face to ask for humanity? Grandfather swept the cigarette aside, trembling with rage. Ta Hong Quang edged close to me, pulled a handful of candy from his pocket and stuffed it into my hands. Then lit a cigarette, took a long drag, and gripped my hand. Uncle 8, we're kin, only you know those arts. You can't watch us die. He even pinched my cheek. Kid, what do you think? His fingers were ice cold. I jerked away and hid behind my grandfather. Grandfather's expression softened a touch. He took the cigarette from Zhang Tong Duc. Inhaled, then exhaled a dense ribbon of smoke that veiled half his face. You've already been marked, he said. I can draw talismans to keep you alive. Whether they work, we'll see tonight. They were standing outside just now, probably gone now. Zhang Man Kai was jelly on the floor. Snot and tears smeared across his face. Uncle 8, save us. We swear we'll never do anything like this again. From behind, Ta Hong Quang whipped out a butcher's knife, bulging his eyes at the doorway and growling. Come in if you've got guts. I'm not afraid of the living, why fear ghosts? Damn, he kicked the door open. A blast of cold air slammed into the room, bone-deep cold in the middle of summer. Grandfather roared, veins jumping in his forehead. Are you brain sick? Taunting them now? Trying to die faster? You did wrong. You'll pay. They're sparing your wives and children, that's mercy. Zhang Tong Duc grabbed him. Don't shout. Zhang Man Kai stared, horrified, curling behind my grandfather. Grandfather climbed onto the table, swung up to the roof beam to retrieve a brush, then rummaged out a jar of cinnabar and a stack of paper. Snatching the butcher's knife from Ta Hong Quang, he nicked Zhang Manchi's finger and dripped blood into the cinnabar. Then dipped the brush and drew symbols I couldn't decipher. Soon, each of the 3 men had a yellow charm painted in blood, 2 triangular talismans apiece. 1 large, 1 small. Finally he said, hang the big one above your door. Keep the small one on you. Before the hour of the rat. If anyone knocks, do not answer. Do not open. Go. Now. The sky was pitch black. So thick you couldn't see your hand. Before leaving, Zhang Man Kai stammered. There's also Zhang the mute. He was in on it. I haven't found him. Grandfather kicked him aside, furious. Idiot. Why didn't you say so earlier? Once they're done there, they'll come for you one by one. The more they kill, the crazier the ghosts become. He lit 3 sticks of incense at the lane's mouth. Then hurried them off, shouting back, no matter who comes, do not open the door. I started to follow, but he shooed me back in. I had to stay alone. I don't know how long it was before an owl hooted outside. On the wooden window frame, 2 golden eyes with vertical pupils, a black cat. It fluffed up, growling at the door as if it could tear the air, and only vanished when grandfather returned. He came back, dragged a bamboo chair to the doorway, and sat there smoking, not letting me step outside. In the dark, I could only see half his face, his brows knotted, weariness carved deep. I dozed off on the living room floor. By sunrise, he was still in the bamboo chair, looking spent. When I went out, I learned that Zhang the mute was dead too. Overnight, they'd fished his body out of the latrine pit. Many households kept pigs, the sty backed onto the privy, and human and pig waste all drained into a big pit to ferment for fertilizer. They found him in that pit. People said it was an even worse death than Zhang Hutai's. Families began packing up, carrying their children off to stay in town. Everyone said the village was haunted. They didn't dare remain. By day, police cars rolled in. They told people not to be superstitious and knocked on door after door. Grandfather was summoned again, his face drawn. I stuck close to the village committee office and kept hearing the name. Ms. Lu Ruolin. I was so curious. Why didn't grandfather tell the police outright and have those monsters arrested immediately? Wouldn't that avenge Ms. Lu and Zhang Hulo and stop the killing? But not only did he keep silent, he warned me to keep my mouth shut too. It rankled. Ms. Lu was good. She cared not only about our studies but about our lives. She knew each family's situation. A teacher like that was nothing like the ones before. I liked her, and my anger simmered. It made grandfather seem bad to me. The police were still stuck. The victims died in ways too bizarre. The killer left no traces. If it was a person, where were the signs? If it was a beast, why did the dogs stay quiet? Noses dead? Just as everyone was stymied, word came from Zhang Tongduke's home up the slope. While they were conferring, a policewoman burst in, flustered. Something's happened. The room sprang to its feet as one. What now? Someone's dead, at the house halfway up the mountain. At those words, grandfather's face changed. He shot outside, calling back, bring my grandson with you. An officer scooped me up, running as he talked into his phone. Hello? Yes. Another death in Zhang village. Not last night's, this afternoon. Details unclear. I'm headed to the scene. We're setting up a checkpoint. Right. Grandfather sat at the doorway of the house. Seeing us, he stopped us short, lifted me into his arms, and told the police, it's Zhang Tongduke, probably just died. Go in and look. Luckily, the family's gone to town, he's alone. I'll take the boy home and come back. Back at our place, he set me down, lit incense at the 4 corners, east, south, west, north, then swept the house inside and out. I need to go out. He said, stay put. I'll lock the door from the outside. No matter who comes, don't answer, don't go near the door. Remember the black cat, if it bristles, run to the back room and find Little White. Before leaving, he handed me a tin of bubble gum. Chew if you're bored, don't eat too much or your teeth will fall out. I reached for it, but he tapped my hand with a bamboo basket. And don't touch the incense sticks in the house. I knew what was in the basket, and it wasn't Little White. At the gate, he waved toward the left corner. A white blur flitted past. I slept until near dusk. When he returned, he lit the stove for rice. The fragrance made my stomach growl. I sat at the door waiting for dinner when 2 officers arrived. Grandfather cooked and chatted with them. Soon he carried out a bowl for me. The tall officer ruffled my hair, made a few awkward remarks. I didn't answer. So he changed the subject. We've basically narrowed down the suspect, likely Ta Hong Kwang. It made no sense to me. How could it be him? Grandfather, too, froze. Why him? The other officer added, we found a knife at the scene. Prints matched Ta Hong Kwang. And the wounds and method fit the earlier victims. We want to know more about him. Grandfather was silent. They were patient. We're under real pressure here. With deaths piling up in the village. We need a quick break. So we're relying on you. You know the people in the land better than anyone. Grandfather nodded, sympathetic, but said he didn't know of any feud between Zhang Tong-duc and Ta Hong Kwang, at least nothing obvious. While he saw them out, I peeked at the photo they'd left on the table. It showed what I hadn't seen earlier because grandfather had carried me away, a bloodied knife. Sharp-edged, with a serrated spine, the very one I remembered. Earlier, right here in this house. Ta Hong Kwang had brandished it to scare the ghosts. And then he'd just left with the others. Could he really have killed Zhang Tong-duc? Once the police were gone, grandfather stepped into the inner room to make a call. Sounded like to Zhang Man-kai. Man-kai, be careful, Ta Hong Kwang is probably possessed. He killed Zhang Tong-duc. Listen to me. Don't go out tonight. The police are posted in the village. He probably won't come for you. Scared now, are you? Back then you had guts. Keep the talisman dry. Don't let water touch it. Wait for morning. I figured Zhang Man-kai was scared out of his wits. Of that gang, only he and Ta Hong Kwang were left. And Ta had vanished. Who knew where he lurked? Ta might be the killer. But it wasn't just possession. Luckily I'd slept through the day, otherwise I might have died at their hands that night. Grandfather came back out and lit 3 sticks of incense on the stone step. He carried me to my room and said, stay inside. If you're sleepy, sleep. Don't go out. Don't open the door. If I'm not back by tomorrow night, find the officers in the village and leave Zhang village with them. I watched him lock the door and hurry off. Then peeked at the living room. The table was covered with dishes. Bowls and chopsticks set neatly on all sides. I thought I saw a pair of chopsticks twitch. When I looked again, nothing. Bored alone, I folded paper planes from gold joss paper. After launching one, I noticed the black cat on the windowsill. It didn't meow, just groomed its glossy coat, glancing at me now and then. When I finished the planes, I folded a paper frog, set it on the floor, and blew so it would inch along. I was lost in it when the cat gave a low cry. It turned its back to me, fur up, back arched, growling, like it was seeing something terrible. I pressed my face to the black square of window without fear. Grandfather's little white was in the house. Ordinary beasts wouldn't dare come near. I figured it was just another stray cat wandering close, about to start a fight. Breeding season, strays yowled every night. I was used to it. But the cry grew more and more mournful, grating on my nerves, so I ran out to shoo it away. I barely reached the door when there came a knock, followed by Zhang Man-chi's voice. Kiddo, open up. Your grandpa sent me to pick you up. Grandpa? Joy flickered, so he hadn't left me alone after all. But the black cat on the windowsill suddenly snarled, baring its teeth straight at me. A chill ran through me. I remembered Grandpa's warning. Don't go near the door, no matter who comes. Don't open it. Besides, he just called to tell Zhang not to go out. Why would he show up at midnight? And exactly when Grandpa wasn't home? I'm not home. No one's here, I shouted, then dashed into the inner room. In country houses, the front is the sitting room, inside. The levels split. The lower level is for living, up above. Firewood is stored. Still uneasy, I climbed onto the wooden cabinet, grabbed the rope, and pulled myself to the second level. A thick silver-white tail swung down. I grabbed it and was lifted up in one go. With little white beside me, half my fear melted. I hadn't even caught my breath when the outer door opened. Heavy footsteps thumped, thud, thud, right onto my heartbeat. The black cat slipped away. The inner door banged open. A stench of rot and blood rolled in, followed by a rasping grind of teeth. He was inside. Kiddo, ZZT, where did you go? Come with me, ZZT. Let's go find your grandpa. I held my breath and pressed myself flat on the firewood loft. Suddenly, thud, something hollow sounded atop the cabinet. He was climbing up. ZZT. You're listening to a story
Kiddo,
on Hecate.
why hide up there?
Come down, ZZT. Come with me, ZZT, to find your grandpa. The air grew icy, the reek thickened. I couldn't help it, I sneezed. His voice was right by my ear. Then, from the woodpile behind me, a white blur shot out and wrapped him tight. The house shuddered with the crash, jars fell and shattered. I curled in the kindling, shaking. Only when beams of flashlights flickered past the window did I see clearly. The white snake with the little twin horns I knew so well, and Zhang Man Kai, bloated. Grotesque. Little White lunged, striking his one good eye blind. Grandpa burst in with the police, shouting, Zhang Man Kai, what are you doing in my house? Zhang bared bloody teeth and growled in a voice no longer human. You, ZZT, cruel old man. Those talismans were to summon ghosts. They, ZZT, don't dare go after you, so I came here. Grandpa's face went black. You brought this on yourselves. Heaven's punishment is fitting. Where's the child? I said, where is he? I was about to answer, but Zhang's remaining eye slid toward me, vicious and venomous. Then, ZZT, I'll take him, ZZT, with me. Ignoring the white snake clamped on his arm, he sprang toward me. Gunshots cracked, his body lurched. Then he kicked off the wall and hurled himself at Grandpa. I jumped off the cabinet and hit the floor running. Grandpa, don't let him bite you. I didn't expect, there was someone else on the bed. Ta Hong Kwang. He'd slipped in earlier and lain in wait. Silent as a shadow, his face was chalk white. His movements ghost-like. Before I could back away, he lunged, mouth gaping toward my face. The fishy stench smothered me. I froze, my mind went blank. Outside, the police were riddling Zhang Man Kai like a beehive. Grandpa had just rushed in when that vile mouth plunged for my neck. Kid, Grandpa's voice broke. In a blink, Little White flashed across my vision, blocking me. Crunch, a burst of blood stink. The bite had landed on it instead. I thought I was safe, when suddenly I felt myself yank loose from my body. Floating in the air, outside the window, a woman's gentle voice. Little one, come back. I stared, there were more people outside. Ms. Lu stood there, beautiful as ever in a pure white dress, cradling a little girl. Beside her was Zhang Hu Lo, watching me in silence. Behind them, people knelt. Zhang Hu Tai, the old bachelor. I hung there, weightless, watching Grandpa weep as he cradled my body. Before I could understand, two hands settled lightly on my back. A soft push, and a pull drew me down. When I opened my eyes again, I was in Grandpa's arms. The yard swarmed with police. Zhang Man Kai and Ta Hong Kwang lay motionless, two corpses. Grandpa carried me out. I looked back and whispered, Grandpa, I just saw Ms. Lu, and the others. Hush. He shook his head. The police loaded me into a car. They surrounded Grandpa. Looked like they were cuffing him. He still smiled. His lips moved. Good child. Don't be afraid. Grandpa was taken away on the charge of keeping wild beasts to kill people. But I knew they had the wrong man. Little White was dead. The police took the body. I knew Big White was still out there, just no longer at Grandpa's house. Not long after, Grandpa was released. He told me the ring of traffickers who'd harmed Ms. Lu had been arrested. They confessed everything. The old bachelor, Zhang Hu Tai, Zhang Man Kai, Ta Hong Kwang, Zhang Tone Duck, in the end, they all paid with their lives. Why did the police let you go? I asked. He smiled. People from outside the mountains don't believe such things. What snake could understand human speech and obey commands? That would make it a demon, wouldn't it? I nodded earnestly. Ms. Lu always told us to believe in science. After that, Grandpa went back into the mountains. He took me to learn the paths. And then, I met Big White. Enormous. Snow White, not a demon. It just understood me, that's all. Grandpa patted my head. Don't be afraid. From now on, no one else in this village will die. The village welcomed a support teacher again, this time, a man.